Starting off with our top contenders this year in the 400. First, we got Alexander Doom. So this guy, just like Usain Bolt, has a really good name, and he lives up to his name. And what I mean by that is Alexander Doom this year in the World Indoor Championships won the Open 400 in a race that nobody thought he would win. He brought doom to everyone else. He ruined their day. And he also ruined the United States day in the 4x4 indoors at that same championships. He took down Chris Bailey on the anchor and outleaned him at the line to win gold. So this guy, he's like Kobe Bryant in a white body for track and field. He has a great name. He fulfills up to his name. He's got a great outdoor PR of 44.15. He's been racing good this year, and nobody talks about him. Most of you have probably never heard of him. So keep an eye out. There's no pressure on him this championship, so people like that are dangerous, especially when this guy is a gamer. He's there to take everyone else's glory, so watch out for him. Next contender is Matthew Hudson-Smith, another European, but unlike Alexander Doom, Matthew Hudson has been in the game for almost a decade. He's been a pro for many years, going back to the Rio Olympics. But as of recent, he's been changing his reputation. He used to be a mediocre runner. He could make finals maybe, but now he's a medalist. It started in 2022 with the bronze. He followed that up last year with the silver. And this year he ran a European record personal best world lead going into the Olympics of 43.74. Everything is telling me that this guy should win the gold medal given his trajectory. However, when veterans try to change their reputation and their history, it's so hard to do. This is not a young guy where he's fresh and he has a blank canvas. This guy has been almost a decade as a professional, and he was not a winner at the start, and he's trying to be a winner now. So it's now or never for Matthew Hudson-Smith. I'm not fully sold on him. I think he might choke, in my opinion, if he runs like I think he will run. However, he can very well win the gold medal given his recent performances. So do not count him out. He's there. Next, we got Quincy Hall. So Quincy Hall, another guy who has come out of nowhere recently. He won a world medal last year. And this year I think has had the most consistent year out of anybody. Every performance he is putting out in the 400, it's better than the previous. At the U.S. trials, he was winning his rounds, but he was not the favorite in the final. And then he shocked everybody when he won the U.S. championships over Michael Norman. And then a few weeks later, he runs his first sub-44 world lead, 43.8, which was a world lead at the time. And everyone was shocked that Quincy Hall had that type of speed in him. So if the money's on the line, Quincy Hall is going to be there to show up and show out. Recently, Noah Lyles said he shouldn't be on the 4x4, and Quincy Hall's response told me everything that I need to know. He said, all right, if you don't believe that I should be on the 4x4, line up and let's settle this on the track. That tells me that this guy is in shape to compete whenever, wherever, and he's risking everything on the line because he believes in himself. He believes that he'll win. So best man win. That's the type of man Quincy Hall is. So I like this guy just because of that. He has cool tattoos. He rides horses. He's just a chill guy. He's a family man. This is your typical, not your typical, because what he does is great outside of track and field. So I like him as a personality, and as a track runner, he's definitely filling the description of a champion. So let's see if he can live up to it. The next guy, we have Christopher Morales-Williams. This guy is the new hope for Canada. We got Andre De Grasse for them in the 200, but, he's at the end of his prime, I would say. Like, he's on the twilight years entering them. So once Andre De Grasse is gone, who do you have really? You have nobody. So Christopher Morales-Williams is the new guy for Canada. He's an indoor and outdoor NCAA champion. World record holder in the indoor 400 used to belong to Michael Norman. So that world record has a lot of weight to it. It's legit. It shows that he has potential to be a champion, Christopher Morales-Williams. But as of recent, Christopher Morales-Williams, I don't think he's a really top contender. He might get in the final, but I don't know if he'll get a medal because he's been flopping as of recent. It might be on purpose due to his training. He's been training all year, so it might be a purposeful downgrade or relaxed phase, and he's tuning up to peak at the Olympics again, which is hard. So if he fulfills up to his potential, like he showed in the college season, then he's definitely a medal contender. But other than that, I don't think he's gonna go back to that form given his recent performances. Next guy we got is Michael Norman. So Michael Norman has a lot of things to him. This guy, bear with me here, he should be the Noah Lyles of the 400 meters. However, he has not lived up to that potential. So what I mean by that is Michael Norman, ever since out of high school, he and Noah Lyles were like the coin flip or the mirrors of each other, the two faces of a coin. Noah Lyles was the 200-meter guy. Michael Norman was the 400-meter guy. And ever since that, Michael Norman, at first, started off with a great career. College records, started off as a pro on a great PR 43-45, and was setting the world on fire. But he never won a championship till 2022. So something with Michael Norman is off, even though everything about him says champion. There's one thing that just is not clicking, and he's not dominating this event like he should. Michael Norman has the qualities to be a dominant champion. He has the PR, he has the speed, he has the records, he has all the tools to do it, but it's not clicking like Noah Lyles or like Carson Warholm or who else, Grant Holloway. Like, he should be in that conversation of dominance for their respective events, but he's not done it yet. So Michael Norman, given what I just said about all his tools, his accolades, he's a world champion. He can race fast in big meets, like in the NCAAs, like at the World Championships. So, given that, he is a gold medal contender. Watch out for him. This year he's been quiet. He's ran one good race, but other than that, he hasn't shown all of his cards. So, Michael Norman, a contender, watch out. But I would not be surprised if he disappoints me again. Next guy, we got Karani James. So, Karani James is not on this list of top 10 entries yet. But Karani James is a guy we have to appreciate. Karani James has won every medal you can think of in the 400. He's won gold, silver, bronze. World Championships, gold, silver, bronze. So he has the infinity stones of the 400. That's all I gotta say. He will get you a medal. Put your money on Karani James. He shows up, he shows out. He's the most likable guy, in my opinion, in the 400 because after every race, he congratulates people. If he wins, he congratulates people. And he's a likable character. Like, he's gone through so much that you root for this guy, and because of that, he's always going to be a favorite. He's always going to be there in the mix. He's going to show up, give one hell of a performance, and if he doesn't win, it's like, oh, well, but he showed up. He showed out. So Karani James, like always, he's a contender. And, guys, he's not that old. He's actually younger than Wade Van Niekerk. And Wade Van Niekerk's era was 8 years ago. Karani James' era was 12 years ago. That's how long Karani James has been around. And he's younger than Wade Van Niekerk. He's early 30s, and I think at that age, Michael Johnson was still dominating. So Karani James can still win a gold medal. He would be the first man to win 4 Olympic medals in the 400. That's crazy. That's 4 generations of sprinting. 2 generations if you count the modern era where everyone's career is longer, but 4 cycles of Olympics, that's crazy. Karani James, watch out for him. And most importantly, the guy who took over Wade Van Niekerk after Wade Van Niekerk had his injury is Steven Gardner. So Steven Gardner is the reigning defending Olympic champion. He is a former world champion, and if he didn't get injured, he could have been the reigning defending champion, in my opinion. But he's gotten injured in the last 2 world championships, so we don't know what type of form he is in the finals. He's put up good performances during the season, but recently he's been plagued with a bad injury that prevents him from showing up at the final. So he's not choking in the final. He's just choking before the final, if that makes sense, right? But we all know that if Steven Gardner is in the final, he's definitely a favorite. He always puts on great performances in the final. He's gotten a silver medal. He's gotten a gold medal. He's got a gold medal at the Olympics. So everything about Steven Gardner, even his wacky personality, it doesn't influence his results. It just complements him and supports his efforts to be a champion. So watch out for Steven Gardner. Gardner. If he's healthy, watch out. I would not be surprised if he defends his title. And our last contender, man, I wish I could say Quincy Wilson, but he didn't make the team. That would be awesome to say. But Quincy Wilson is not a contender. And our last contender, I would say out of the whole list, let's include Jareem Richards, because Jareem Richards, unlike everyone else in this field except Michael Norman, Jareem Richards is a proven 200-meter world-class runner in his day, right? Jareem Richards, I believe, is a medalist in the 200 7 years ago. So he has world-class speed in that event, which will help his 400. And he's ran, I think, a PB this year. So he's in that mix of being in the final. But if he puts everything together, Jareem Richards has the tools to be a medalist, if not a champion. I believe he was once an indoor champion last year for the 400. So he can win championship events, but I'm not sure if he's ready for an event of this caliber, the Olympics, which is the biggest one of track and field. So given that, these are my top 3 medalists. If I missed anybody else that you think could be a medalist, drop it down in the comments. But here are my top 3 this year. So number 1, we got... man, I really don't want to do this, but it's going to be Quincy Hall, guys. Quincy Hall. No, not Quincy Wilson. Quincy Hall. Quincy Hall, I think, is going to win the gold medal this year, because when he ran that 43.8, he looked calm. He wasn't like boasting to the crowd like I'm him, rubbing it in your face. He just showed up, showed out, celebrated, went on to interview, and thanked his training, thanked his team. He put his head down, he spoke it, he's like, on to the next one. That's the mentality you need to be a champion, either in a win or a loss. And Quincy Hall, from his background, he's learned that already. Like a lot of these other track runners, they don't have this mindset that Quincy Hall has, because they haven't gone through what Quincy Hall has gone through. So he's putting everything together at the right time. His experiences from losing, not being counted as one of the favorites, has allowed him to develop an underdog mentality. Well, not like, excuse me for that. That's disrespectful to Quincy Hall. He has been an underdog, and he's embraced it, and now he's just showing up and showing out and proving everybody wrong. He doesn't care if he's the champion, if you view him like that. He doesn't care about that. He's just there to provide for his family, do his best performance for his sponsor, for himself, and win. That's all he is at this point. He's not Noah Lyles, where he's just rambling and talking about other people and starting arguments. He's just here to win. And for that reason, Quincy Hall seems to be the most focused guy this year. He seems to have everything together. The consistency, the performances, the performances at the championship events at USA's and international. Everything is clicking, and he doesn't have a history of being a choker, right? He's still early in his 400-meter career, where I can't label him as a choker. If anything, he's proven to be a gamer and a potential gold medalist. He got the medal last year, wasn't gold, but he is on an upward trajectory. So, given all that, I think Quincy Hall is going to be the Olympic gold medalist this year. And it pains me to say, because he's not my favorite 400-meter runner, but I gotta be unbiased here and pick who I think is gonna win it, and it's Quincy Hall. That's your gold medalist this year. In runner-up, we got Michael Norman. I know, guys. This is where the hate's gonna begin. So Michael Norman, I want him to win gold so bad. I want him to win. He was my favorite runner. I think he still is. But Michael Norman hasn't shown me that era of dominance that he had in the 2018 to 2019 season. In that year or those years for Michael Norman, he seemed untouchable. We were talking about 42 something in the 400, 19 low in the 200 because he was winning every race. He's one of the few men that has beaten Noah Lyles in the 200 head to head when Noah Lyles was healthy in a Diamond League. Like, I don't think Noah Lyles has lost a Diamond League race to anyone except Michael Norman. So Michael Norman has quality wins, quality times, quality medals, a quality history for the most part of being a champion. But his mindset is the only thing that's lacking, where I can't say he's that dog. Like Usain Bolt, even in his down years, he was always Usain Bolt. Michael Norman is still in the phase where he hasn't solidified his identity or mentality. He just got married. He's in a transition phase. His priorities in life are changing. And for that reason, I don't think he's going to be a gold medal given all that. He's going to be in the mix. And if he's healthy, he can definitely win the gold medal. But with all this background noise and coming off a bad year last year where he didn't even run, I don't see him going from nothing to gold medal out of nowhere. If he does, Michael Norman would have proved me wrong, and I would be so happy about it. But he's going to get a silver medal. He's going to avenge his disappointing Tokyo performance where he should have won gold, but he didn't. And he'll be satisfied with it, which will be bad because then he will be a forever what if. But he's going to get a medal nonetheless, I think, but not gold. And number 3, third bronze medal in the third place. Excuse me for my language. I'm a little bit dehydrated. But the third medal, I got to give it to this guy right here. Who do you think, guys? Well, I got to say it's this guy right here. Matthew Hudson Smith. So Matthew Hudson Smith has been performing so good this year that I have to accept the new reality that this guy is no longer a mediocre he's no longer a mediocre run-of-the-mill professional where he runs meets, gets fourth, gets fifth, and is in and out. He's a good runner, guys. He's really good. And this year he's taken up to the next level. But the reason I'm not putting him at gold or silver is because Michael Norman has beaten him in a head-to-head at the championships. Quincy Hall has shown a better year, in my opinion, than Hudson Smith. And the one thing that I don't think Hudson Smith has over those two guys is the head-to-head wins. He actually has beaten Quincy Hall, but not Michael Norman. But I think just beating two Americans of that caliber in one race, I don't think he's going to do. It's just something about those guys that I think they have his number. Call me crazy. I just don't think Matthew Hudson Smith is going to be the gold medalist given the guys that are in this field, Michael Norman and Quincy Hall. So those are my top 3 as of now. Honorable mentions, who I think can definitely just destroy my list right now, is Steven Gardner and Karani James. So those two guys, they're Olympics champions. But the reason they're not medalists this year is, first, Karani James, he's on the older side. It's going to be hard for him to beat these up-and-coming young guys that have shown to be world champions, have faster PRs than him, and, they're hungrier than him by default. Karani James has won every medal you can think of. Naturally, he's not going to have the same hunger that he had when he was a nobody, when he had nothing to his name. These other guys are chasing their first gold medal at the Olympics. I'm talking about Michael Norman, Quincy Hall, Matthew Hudson Smith. These guys are all in the prime of their careers. They're peaking just at the right time. So, given that, Karani James will give them a lesson in the final. He's going to be like, hey, if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to run the race of your life. That's the type of race that's going to happen. But Karani James is not going to pull out a 43-4 and rejuvenate his career and rewrite his legacy. The only way Karani James wins this Olympics is if he becomes a new Karani James, where he destroys his reputation, not in a bad way, but just rewrites his legacy. His legacy right now is written as a great 400-meter runner, probably the best consistent 400-meter runner of all time, but not the greatest. If he runs 43.4 or 43.3, that's the only way he wins this Olympics, and it's by doing something he's never done. But he's not going to do that. And Stephen Gardner, in my opinion, is the most clutch 400-meter runner of this era. And by this era, I mean 2019 and forward. So the only reason he's not winning is because he's injury prone. If he was in the final healthy, and I don't think he will be, if he was, though, definitely a medalist. He's not going to be left out of the podium, but he's going to choke again with an injury. He's going to foul out or fall in the semifinal, pull up, some BS where I end up disappointed again in him. So Stephen Gardner, nope, no medal this year. He's not going to defend the title. He's just like Shaunae Miller-Uibo. They're not going to defend their titles. They are all-time greats in their own right in a certain niche, but that time has passed. We're on to the next generation. And also, honorable mention, Alexander Doom, of course. He's going to do good, but it's not his time yet. So, good job to him. No medals. Anybody else that might come up who might shock the world that is not in my medalists is nobody. The only guy who would be a medalist or a medal threat if they were in the Olympics is Quincy Wilson. That 16-year-old guy, he's not in the Olympics as an individual eventer, but if he represented Mexico or something, I would not be surprised if Quincy Wilson was a medalist. But unfortunately, he didn't make the team for the USA. Other than that, those are my predictions. Drop down in the comments below who you think is going to win. If you think my predictions are great or bad, tell me why. The 200 meters is coming out later today. Stay tuned. Bye.